at the time? Where does it go? So much to craft, so much to sew. Time is ticking, there's a buzz in the air. Need to get ready, no time to spare.
Good morning, gifted crafters. It's crafting time.
Worries on my mind, it's been a tough week. My life feels a void, there's something that I need. My supplies on the table, I grab a comfy seat. I need to craft to put my mind at ease. Crafting changed my life, it mends my soul. In my happy space, I'm in full control. It's crafting time, craft my troubles away. Give me a world of color to brighten up my day. Crafting videos on, searching what I can do. Sipping on my drink, feeling inspired and new. Crafting's good for the soul, it's so true. Bringing beauty into the world through. As I craft, my spirits start to climb. It's not just a pastime, it's a state of mind. It's more than just a hobby, it's a way of life. I expressed myself, everything is feeling just right. It changed my life, it mends my soul. In my happy space, I'm in control. It's crafting time, craft my troubles away. Give me a world of color to brighten up my day. Crafting videos on, searching what...
Live from the Sunshine State in Miami, Florida, here is the Gifted Crafters Morning Show with Nancy.
Good time. Ooh, time to get our craft on. Ooh, time to have fun. Ooh, time to feel good.
Good morning, Gifted Crafters, and welcome back to the Gifted Crafters Morning Show. Good morning out there. Good morning, good morning. Alrighty, I see people from Philadelphia, Maryland. Good morning, good morning. I've got my neighbor from Miami. Hey, how are ya? Good morning. Alrighty, yay. I think everyone is in the chat and just chatting away. Oh, Cindy, I really appreciate that. Thanks for putting the link on Facebook. Yay, we want to increase membership, subscribers. It's all awesome. We're trying to get to that 10,000 mark on subscribers, and we're getting pretty close, so I'm excited about that. We're going to have a big celebration for that one. Good morning. There's my friends from Canada. Good morning. How are you? All righty. Awesome. And Texas is here. Thank you for joining. We've got, let's see, I think we said Maryland's here. Alrighty, awesome. So if you're tuning in for the first time, my name is Nancy with GiftsHQ, and I host these daily sessions to just talk about all kinds of crafting things, from sewing, embroidery, and so much more. We cover it all, and we like to talk about all kinds of tips and tricks, and we have some demos, and we like to just, you know, kick around some ideas. I mean, why not, right? We love to craft and we love to share information. So if that's something that you're into, you're in the perfect spot chat. Go ahead and pop into the chat and say hello, because we have a awesome community out there and we love to help each other out. Let us know if you are an influencer yourself. Let us know in the chat as well, because we like to support each other as well. Because it is TGIF, folks. God, it's awesome. Yes, TGIF, really needed it. This was a really busy week for me. We've kind of been all over the place. Thursdays are usually pretty tough because my son has his paddleboarding lessons. So we're kind of out in the sun. There's not too much shade there. So we're soaking it all in, and he's out there on the water doing his thing. He is now going to be going to states to be competing with Special Olympics, and we're excited about that. That's going to be coming up in August, so I'll be in the Sarasota area for that. So I guess I'll probably try to check out a couple of shops while I'm there. I mean, why not, right? I'm also going to be in Fredericksburg, Virginia at the Sewing and Quilting Expo. That will be coming up in late September. So if you're going to the expo, let me know, because I'd really love to meet you and see you there. We've got a few people that I know have already let me know that they're going to be coming, and we're going to be kind of trying to get together, maybe have some dinner on that Friday night or something. So hopefully you guys can join us there, because that'll be fun as well. We're going to take a couple of classes. I've registered for at least 3 classes, and one of them is on t-shirt quilting, so I'm really excited on that one. And a couple of ones are on my serger. I'm also bringing my mom along, who had never gone to a sewing and quilting expo. And this is going to be her first time actually seeing in such an event, right? She's always learned just by watching other people, and she just kind of wings it, but she was never really educated in the whole sewing or quilting world. Her thing is more crochet. But I think she's going to have a fantastic time, and I think she's going to be quite surprised when she sees everything that goes on there. So I'm really excited to take her through that journey, and we're going to take a couple of classes with her, so that'll be a lot of fun. And I'm also meeting my sister there, who's going to be just kind of with us taking the classes as well. So we're going to have a great time. So if you're in that area, please let me know, because I'd really love to know. What's his name? His name is Herman. My son's name is Herman, and that's a picture of him there. That was at
that's my boy.
That was in a states game competition, maybe, I don't know, a couple years ago, maybe. So now he is officially in training, and we're gonna have to kind of double up that training, because it's gonna be pretty tough in states. So we'll see how he does. So we're going to have to kind of ramp up the training and get him into shape so that he will be ready for that event. So we'll see. It's really hot out there, guys. And he's got, I think it's 3,200 meters, something like that. I have to look it up again. He does one of the long distance ones. So a lot of time out in the water in that heat. And you're pretty much solo paddleboarding out there. You can cheer. Don't know if they're going to hear you, because they're pretty far away. But as they get closer and come around and do that lap, I think everybody gets them all energized to go again. So yeah, it's going to be fun. So I will keep you posted on that. Alrighty, let's get going. Let me pour you some coffee, because we've got to start off our day. So go ahead and grab your little drink. I'm going to go ahead and pour you a cup while we're at it, because I've got my drink right here. I've got some crushed ice and water today. Needed something to really cool me off, because I said yesterday was a scorcher, and looks like today is going to be pretty hot too. But couldn't do the coffee today. Had to go ahead and get the water, because we got to get that in. So cheers to you guys. Hope you have a fantastic day and a great weekend. So let's go ahead and get that toasted. So let me grab some water here. Really needed that. Good morning, Barbara from Ohio. Thanks for joining. I hope that you have a fantastic time today in our show. Alrighty, I'm excited today because we finished off one of our blocks. So I'm going to show you one of the blocks today, and I'm in the middle of the second block. We need to do 4 of them. So we'll be getting to that today. Yes, we will be getting, let me just go right there now. I think you guys want some snacks today, huh? Let's go ahead and roll out the food truck real quick. Let's grab our snacks and get ourselves into our little corner. There's your virtual little food truck here. It's come down the block, and of course, my husband likes to put the little unicorn. I don't understand why, but hey, you know, you gotta go with it, right? It's something different, something special. He just likes to make it fun. So let me know if you want to see something else going across the food truck. But lots of fun here. Go ahead and grab all your snacks, coffee, tea, donuts. We've got everything there, even the healthy stuff like the kale and the carrots. Everything is on that food truck. So go ahead and grab your snacks, get yourself into your corner. You've got your little drink, and we're ready to go, right? Awesome. Connie's ready for her coffee. Oh, it's raining in Southwest Louisiana. Oh boy. Okay, you're gonna have guava pastry. Nice. Love it. Grab some for me. Okay, Becca. Oh, the purple unicorn is sweet, Connie. Aw. Yeah, I told him, why didn't you do a dog? I don't know. Why did you do a unicorn? I didn't get it, but hey, why not, right? Maybe we'll change that up. Oh no, not kale. We've got to get the healthy stuff in there too. Come on. Why not? We got to stay healthy. Okay. We've got our snacks. We've got our drinks. We're in our cozy spot and we're ready to go. So let's get talking about our project. Again, we have been working on, if you have not tuned in this week, we started on, was it Monday? I believe it was Monday that we started on a little Christmas. This is a pattern that you can pick up. The link is below if you're interested. This is a table runner and a pillow pattern. It is by Beverly McCullough and from Flamingo Toes, and this is a Riley Blake design. Super, super cute, nice Christmassy feel, great item to just kind of make and have on your table. And then we've got the little pillow to kind of match with that you can kind of put on your couch. So really neat. We've been focusing on the table runner this week. We started it off. This is using mostly the stitch and flip method. And we've kind of went through that. And then I'm going to show you today one of the pieces that's one of the final corner pieces that has to be done is the stitch and flip doubled. So it's kind of a little bit weird. So I want to just kind of show you guys that because it can be a little bit confusing if you're not too familiar with the method. So I will show you how to get through that last block, and then once you're done with that last block, it's just a matter of stitching it all together. So came out really cute. Let me just show you. This is the block that I was able to finish, and so you can see here, let me grab this on this end, you can see these corners right here. Let me put it down, hold on. Let's put it down here first so you can talk through this real quick. These corners here and here are the ones that have the stitch and flip method doubled. And so you have this doubling going on here on the corners. And so you have to kind of know how to do that, and just kind of, it's the stitch and flip method. It's just doing it twice on one end. So it makes it a little bit heavy on this corner, but it is super simple to do. It just can be a little bit confusing if you're not too familiar with it. But I think it came out really nice. It's really a beautiful spot. I mean, if I wanted to kind of take this and just use this as the pillow, I could. And then just kind of do this one as the pillow and continue on the rest. But I'll have this as a table runner. I'm working on that second block. So let me move this over here. I'm going to stick this right here over on the desk cam. so you guys can see that a little bit. I have to adjust a little here. We kind of moved it a little bit. Let's see. Can you guys see that? There you go. So this is all done pretty easy. We started with the fussy cut, then we built in our little corners here, we put our border in, and then we worked on our star points on the ends here, and then we just started to kind of build from there, add them in, and then I just sewed. I got my 2 blocks here put together, then on all 4 sides, and then I added the corners that have the double stitch and flip method. So pretty cool on here. The way it got put together was pretty easy, and I was able to line up my points to make sure that I'm hitting all of my points on each of the ends here as well as on the corner. So lots of points to kind of match up here, but if you've been following along and you've been doing your little spot checks, that's how you can make sure that you are able to kind of hit those points. So it's pretty neat how that gets done. And after pretty much every step, the pattern will tell you what the finished size should be on the particular block that you're working on, or particular piece, I should say, that you're working on. So it's a good idea to go ahead and check to make sure that your piece is actually meeting that specification that it says in the pattern. And that's how you'll know as you go along, everything will line up and you'll be able to go ahead and stitch this out. So pretty neat how this came out. I really love it. And I'm just going ahead and I'm working on the other one. Yes, my mom's gonna love it. I think so too. You know, it'll go great on her table. I think, you know, I like to decorate a lot. My mom never knows what to do, so I'm the decorator and going in and putting all her Christmas thingies and the holiday stuff. I just enjoy doing that stuff. I think, you know, she's really gonna like it. She's got, you know, a whole bunch of crocheted items that she's put, and she's got a really long kind of formal dining room table, so it'll look really nice in the middle of it. So I think it's gonna look fantastic. Okay, so that is the block that is completed. And so I wanted to kind of walk you through these corner blocks here, because these were the only ones that we haven't done together yet. So I'm going to go ahead and show you guys how to do these. And then it's just, you know, putting the blocks together, and then we'll be matching this side. Oh, can we go back? We'll be matching these right here against the next block. So let me bring over a piece here and let me move these to the side. When we do our next block, this is going to kind of match right here. Let me scoot this over just a tad so you can see a little bit better. So when I do that second block, this is going to tie, and you see how this is all going to tie in together. And it's going to just, you know, really start to build. And then on these sides here, I believe the cornerstones will match up as well. So we'll have these going across. So a lot of matching here, a lot of pinning to make sure that, you know, you're hitting each piece. But, you know, it was a lot of fun. And it's as long as you take your time and go through your steps, you'll be fine with that. Alrighty, so let's come over here, and before we get into the actual process of making that corner block, let's go ahead and go over to our crafting news, because I have quite a few things to let you know about that might be in your area or even online. Okay, so we're going to start off with the online version, and that is the Kimberbell Day. So if you guys are not aware, tomorrow is Kimberbell Day, and it's happening right online, or some people are even going to their quilt shops and they're watching it together. So that's a lot of fun if you can get a little group to kind of do it all together. Now this is going to be hosted by Kimberbell Designs. It's totally free. It's a worldwide event, and it's full of a lot of embroidery joy. They're going to have live demos, sneak peeks, and yeah, they're going to have some amazing giveaways. This includes machines, fabric bundles, and all kinds of of Kimberbell goodies. This year's theme is called Creativity Blooms, and it's all about growing your imagination one stitch at a time. They'll be showing off some really fun projects like snap trays, patch totes, and they're even going to have a first look at their upcoming Enchanted Winter Quilt. So I'm excited to see that. And you can join in right from your home or again at your participating quilt shop. Just head over to their website, kimberbell.com, and you can get all the details there. So that'll be really fun to do on Saturday. Alrighty, now we're gonna go and head over to Basin, Wyoming. And they've got a quilt show at the Bighorn County Fair, and it's making a nice, joyful return. So after a few quiet years, the Loose Threads Quilt Guild is bringing back their much-loved display. And they're coming back with a lot of heart and passion. They had a little break to give members some time to heal the honor of the memory of their former president, Sherry Fink. She was a beloved teacher and a quilting mentor of the community. Sherry's unfinished projects are now being completed by some fellow members in their loving hands. And this year's show will include a special tribute to Sherry's Corner. And they're going to celebrate her life and her legacy, which is really neat. The excitement is just really out there. They even have an old highway sign that they use to point the folks over to the show, and that's kind of been dusted off and it's ready to shine again. And the 2025 fair runs from July the 27th to August the 3rd. And you can bet that there's going to be tons of quilts there that are stitched with a lot of love. So if you're in that area, check that out. That looks like it's going to be amazing. Okay, I've got one more here that's gonna kind of brighten up your day, because if you're feeling a little stretched or maybe a little running on empty a little bit, you may be glad to know that, picking up a creative hobby isn't just for fun. It's actually really good for you. It's good for your heart and it's good for your mind. And this recent story came out of Singapore, and it highlights how doing something creative like painting, sewing, baking, gardening, or crafting can help us feel calmer and more focused, and it's more connecting us with others. Right now, experts say that when we're making something with our hands, we're not just creating beauty, we're giving our brains a break from the stress, and we're waking up on our emotions, and we're even helping our bodies feel more grounded. So isn't that pretty cool? Yeah. So, crafting, it's not just that it's fun, it's really good for our bodies. So keep up the good work on that one, right? Okay. So that's what I have for my crafting news. And now we can kind of get towards our project, right? So I'm going to set this over to the side here. And I'm going to bring this over. Here's my little project board. I've got tons of things on here. Let me bring out, these are the pieces I believe we're going to need. And this is the block that I have already started working on. So you can see here, I've got the fussy cut there. We've got the little block here on the side, and then I've got the two sides kind of put together here. So I'm missing the top and the bottom that I need to, let me move this here so I can put this down. I just need to put the top and the bottom on here. So I'll be stitching these. Actually, it goes this way. So all the green points go around the red border here. So let me move this over because it's really just getting in my way. Okay. So it'll be something like this. And so what we're left with here is we are left with the corners that we need to put together. And so that's these right here. And that's what has the double stitch and flip method. So we're going to need your background fabric. Let me scoot this down. Here we go. You're going to need your background fabric. We're also going to need 2 other fabrics here. There we go. And I'm going to stick this to the side. So these are the background fabric, and these 2 need to be the same fabric, just 2 different cuts, right? So the pattern will tell you what the measurements are on here, but then you're going to go ahead and you're going to draw your line corner to corner. You guys saw how I was doing this with my little Creative Grids ruler, or if you don't have one of these, just grab any ruler and just line it up corner to corner and draw yourself a line, right? Could be with a fabric marker, any kind of pencil that you want. Just make it dark enough so that you can see. And then what we're going to do is we're going to put this on top of our background fabric, right sides together, just like this. Okay, let me bring this over to the desk cam so you guys can see that. Your position is going to be, let's see, it is my right corner. So you're going to have it right on the corner there. This is right sides together, right? And we're going to stitch just under the line, right? So we're going to be stitching right on this side here because we're bringing the fabric over this way. So we want to stitch right on this, right below this line. And then that's going to bring that over. And so let's go ahead and do that. So let me move this out of the way. I'm going to scooch my little rulers down here and grab my little pencil here too. Okay, let me bring my little machine here. Guys, I am just using a very old and simple Brother sewing machine. This is an HC 1850. It is very low cost machine, but it stitches just fine. And I've had this for a long time, and it's kind of my little go-to machine. I mean, it does a great job. So it's a sewing and quilting machine, has a nice little table here, so it allows me to really pull this off really well. So I'm grabbing my tail right back here just to make sure that it stays in the back, and I'm going to make sure that my fabric is lined up and it's not sticking out in any of the sides, right? We want to keep that shape of the square. And so I'm going to go ahead and line up my foot and my needle. I'm going to go down a little bit. There we go. So you can see here, and let me bring this little stiletto so that will help. This is the center right here of where my needle is, and this is the line. So I am actually sewing right underneath that line, not on the line, not above the line. I'm sewing just underneath that line, and I want to stay right underneath there because I want to be able to bring that all the way down so that I have enough space to be able to flip this over and cover the entire square. So that's what we're going to do here. Okay. Alrighty, let me grab my little sewing foot here. And let's see. No, I'm not liking how this little piece of fabric is sticking out. So let me come back here. Just kind of, I think it's just a thread or two. Yeah, it's just a thread. And then I'll go ahead and redo that. Alrighty. Let's get that there. And then the other thing you want to also do is you also want to make sure that you have your diagonal line. Make sure your diagonal line is not off to the side this way or that way. You want to make sure that it is straight across because you're going to be pulling, those feet dogs are going to be pulling on the fabric, and you want to make sure you're going to have a nice straight line and not off to the side. So if you have anything down on the side of your machine to help you kind of line that up, whether it be some tape or anything like that, just make sure that you're lining this up nice and straight, so that when the machine feet dogs are pulling the fabric, it's going to be pulling it nice and straight and not on an angle there. So that's another thing to kind of look out for. So we'll go ahead and we will put our needle down, and I'm going to grab my threads in the back, and I'm just going to hold them for 1 or 2 stitches, just so that I don't have that little bird's nest in the back. And so once I have the 2 stitches, I can kind of let this go here, and it'll be fine. It just avoids the threads bundling up underneath, and you don't want to have that little bundle nest that sometimes happens with those fabrics. And by pulling on the threads a little bit, just giving a slight little tug, it avoids that from happening, so it'll really come out nice. Okay, so let me go ahead and finish sewing this here. Now I've got the camera kind of in the way a little bit, so it's a little hard for me to see, but I think we're okay. All right, you can do that nice and slow, or you can, do at the speed that you're comfortable with. But if you're not too sure, go ahead and slow down the machine so you can get that stitch there. So here's a nice little close-up for you guys. You've got the diagonal line. You can see my stitches here. I'm stitching at a stitch length of 3.0. And you can see that my stitches are right underneath this line right here. Of course, going this way, right? It'll be the other way for you guys, but this is what you want. You want to stitch right underneath that line. Okay, and that's going to give you just enough room to now be able to flip this over. And so when I flip it, let me kind of finger press this here. I'm going to finger press it, and I'm going to look. Am I maintaining this base shape? Do I still have this square, or am I off? Looks like I'm good here. And then I'm going to flip it over to the other side, and I'm going to see the same thing on this side. Okay. So now I'm going to take this over to the iron, and we're going to give it a good little press here, because that's super important, and that will have an impact on this. So if you're one that doesn't like to iron in between, you're going to need to, because if not, that stitch and flip method won't work. Oh, Cindy says, tomorrow I get to start my Holly Jolly quilt. Oh, awesome. You're pre-soaking your red fabric today. Nancy inspired me to make it. Oh, you're going to love it, Cindy. You're really going to love that one. I still am working on, remember, I need to do 3 of them. So the first one's already completed. The second one is halfway there. And I'm hoping on the weekend I want to, tidy up with this one and finish up with that one, so I can have a little box that's going to be all my Christmas projects, and all the gifts are going to be there. And everything will be, kind of organized. These are the Christmas gifts, and as I make them, they're going into that box. And then I'll make one trip to the post office and give them all out. Oh, thank you, 1 Minute Stitch, for the super chat. That's so sweet. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. That will help me out with my trip going over to Fredericksburg, Virginia at the Sewing and Quilt Expo. So yay! We'll see what nice little notions and things I can find there as I'm taking the classes. I'm sure there's going to be tons of little things that I've never seen before. So, and I definitely want to pick up some rulers. So that will really help me out a lot. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Alrighty, I think my iron is ready. So I went ahead, I covered my little ironing board temporarily here. You guys saw it got scorched a little bit because I did kind of leave it there a little bit too long. But Let me just put this way so it doesn't roll off here. So I went ahead and I just covered it with some fabric here. So we've got that going on. And then we've got this that we need to iron. So let me put this down here. And it's, again, just go ahead and finger press it. If you have a little roller, you can use that as well. And roll that down, and then just kind of hold on to that with your finger, grab your iron, and then go ahead and give it a nice press. And if you have your clapper, go ahead and grab that and put the clapper right on top. The clappers are made out of this wood that's going to absorb that heat, and it'll really keep all of your seam allowances nice and flat. And that's really going to help you out when you're lining things up, especially towards the end when you're trying to make all of those points. So it's really, really nice to do that. And then once you have that, it just makes a huge difference. See how flat this is? I mean, you can barely see that there's two fabrics on here, right? And that makes it nice and flat and crisp. And so we've got that piece there. Now we do have to do a little bit of cutting. So once you have this in place, we are going to open it up once more, and we're going to lay it flat again. So the right sides are still touching here, and we're going to grab a small ruler. Let's see, where did I put my rulers? Here they go. Guys, sometimes my stuff kind of walks away in here. And so I'm going to line up my ruler with my little stitch line. And I'm going to leave a 1/4 inch seam right there. And then I'm going to take my rotary cutter, make sure this is all lined up on the stitch line. I'm lining it up against that 1/4 inch. And then I'm going to go ahead and cut these two fabrics. So you're cutting your background fabric as well as the second fabric that you just put on top. And you're going to end up with these two tiny little triangles, of which I am storing off to the side, and I'm sure I'm going to make some kind of project with that. But then once you do that, go ahead and open it back up, and I'm going to put it back on the little ironing table here just to give it another quick little press, since I did open it up. So that will put it there. Grab my little clapper, put it just right on top again. Okay, now we're going to put the other one, the other fabric that we have here. We're going to put this on the other corner, and it has this really annoying little thread here that I'm going to cut off. Just a big thread that's hanging off to the side. Had to go ahead and cut that. Okay. I'm going to line this up here, and it's kind of weird because this piece is almost as big as the background piece. But so it looks a little weird that you're pulling this together, but it is correct. You're going to line it up here, and this is going to be folded back just like that. Okay. And so you'll have those two pieces here. And if you look at the corner, let's do this on the desk cam. If you look at the corner here, you'll see that you have the little piece of fabric that we just put on, right? That's our little corner here. And then you have the larger piece of fabric that is right here. And then we're going to put another piece of fabric right on top of that. So that's why it's kind of like the double stitch and fold, which it's kind of odd. And I feel like, gosh, I think it's a little bit of a waste that we have such a big piece. And then at the end of the day, the only piece we're really going to keep is this right here. So kind of weird, but yeah, that's how you do it. So let's go ahead now. I'm going to bring this over to the sewing machine. And let me put these things on top here, drag this across, and get this going. Alrighty, let's see. grab my tails, put it in the back, and here we go. Line this up. Guys, I don't know if you guys could hear the little birds in the background, but they have been just awful lately. I don't know what's going on with them. They were fighting yesterday. They were just chatting it up a storm. I don't know. It must be the weather. Maybe it's too hot outside. I don't know what it is, but they've been really really active lately. I've gave them a couple of new toys, so that kind of calmed them down for a little bit. But man, they were active yesterday. It was just like, I don't know what's going on with you guys. Let's see. I had to separate one of them because they started to fight. So I do separate them, and I have a little smaller cage, and you know, usually the bad one is the one that goes in that cage. Leave her there for about a day just by herself, and then I can reintroduce her to the population and she'll be fine. But yeah, she was a little feisty yesterday. She had a little mood on her, so I don't know what was happening with that. But that was what was happening in our little bird world over here. Okay, so let's grab our tails again, needle down on this one. Make sure that we are nice and straight. Just take a couple of stitches, go ahead and let go of your tails, and then let's go ahead and stitch the rest of this out. It's so hard for me to sew slow. But I kind of have to, since I don't have really great visibility here because of the camera. So I kind of have to go a little slow, but I usually like to, you know, throw my foot down on that. Okay, so here we are. Let's see. Oh, what kind of birds do I have? I have little parakeets. Or little budgies. Some people call them budgies, parakeets, depends where you are in the world, right? But they're parakeets. And yeah, I've got green ones, yellow ones. Yeah, I've got my very first one. Her name was Sunshine. We got her. And then after we got her, we got Blueberry, which we call Blue. And then ever since, it's just been population after population. And so we've got a bunch of them, and they're all named and they all have their unique little personalities. But yeah, I'll have to at some point get like a really good picture of all of them together if I can get them to stay still. But yeah, they're a lot of fun, and they've each got their personalities. Some of them are really mellow. Like Blueberry's super mellow and just kind of like whatever, you know. And then we've got Sunshine, who's got the complete opposite personality, and she's a little go-getter. She can be a little bit direct when she wants to be petted or not, or you know, she just wants to be left alone. She will let you know. But the two of them have hit it off, and we've got others that are on there. We've got Olive, we've got one that are named Sprite and 7-Up. Yeah, we've got some odd names for our birds, but we love them all. But they're pretty cool. Okay, so I've got here, this is the block that we just stitched here, and you see my stitches are, again, right underneath the line here. And so I went ahead and got all of that out. So now let's go ahead and fold this over. And guys, this took me quite a number of times to get. This is not something that you're just going to get right away, right? It takes a little bit of practice. But then once you get it, you kind of get it. So on here, you're going to see now, we're going to go ahead and you can see that we have maintained the shape, right, on both sides. And so we're good. We'll cut this little thread later. So let's go ahead. I'm going to take this over to my ironing board and give this a quick little press here. And go ahead and press that out. Ooh, got the little cord a little bit closer than I'd like. And then grab my clapper and I'll set that right on top. And let me see here. I think I'm missing a little piece. 1, and 2. Yes, I am. So we need to grab one more piece of fabric. This would be fabric E. And this is the final one that you're going to be putting on this little block. Okay. So we've got our 2 pieces with our 2 fabrics that are exactly the same. Now we're going to go ahead and we're going to need one more that we need to put on the top. Okay. Let me just put this over and let's draw our little lines. Let me grab my little ruler and my pencil. We can do this one together. And then I'm going to go ahead and line this up. Here we go. And then just take your little pencil. I start in the center and go out. It's a little bit easier. And then you can kind of just go again, just like that. And then take my ruler off and we're going to have our nice little line drawn here. So you're going to see, here we go. You're going to see the line there drawn corner to corner. Okay. Now, let's take this and once again, we're going to put this right on top and you're going to put it on the side that has that larger piece that you just sewed in here. Okay. That's where that's going to go. Let me just double check something here. Did I pick up the right fabric? I did not. I did not pick up the right fabric. Hold on, guys. I picked up the wrong stack. Yeah, I did. So sorry. Well, that would not have been good because this is a different size. So we're actually picking up fabric I. And I picked up fabric E. So we're going to put this one back, although that one's going to need a diagonal line as well, so it's fine. But we're going to redo that one again. So hold on here. So sorry about that, guys. I thought I had took this one out, and it looks like I forgot this one. So once again, line this up, corner to corner. Draw a little line starting from the center, going out. Make sure it's nice and dark so that you can see it. And here we go. Right back where we started. Okay. So I'm going to be lining this up. And see how nice and kind of stiff this is? It's pretty stiff. It's not floppy at all, which is great. And that's why you want to starch your fabric before you start this project, because it's really nice to have that starched because it'll help you when you're lining things up and trying to piece them together. So really important. Okay, let's grab these tails, put them in the back here. I've got this all lined up. I'm going to line up my foot and my needle right underneath the line here. And a little hard to see, but I think I got it. There we go. Okay. Drop the needle there. Yeah, that's about right. And I'm going to grab my threads, do a couple of stitches, let go of my threads, and then go ahead and stitch the rest out. And again, one thing I did forget to do. Hold on, guys. I'm going to take the needle out. I'm so sorry. I did forget to cut my fabric. I got hung up on the fabric that I was selecting, which was incorrect, and I forgot to cut this. So I'm going to undo this, and that's okay, guys. This is how forgiving the project is. You got your little seam ripper, go ahead and grab it. And I'm going to cut these stitches right off. I didn't do too many, which is good. But, you know, that's why it's important. You got to label your fabrics and you got to have everything set. Otherwise, you can pick up the wrong one. And you don't want to do that like I did. Okay, so I was able to just seam rip that right off here. And we're all good there. Okay. I do want to go ahead and flip this over and grab my little ruler, and I want to cut this off. And this is why it's important to do that, because once you stitch this on top, you're not going to be able to really cut this underneath because the stitching will be in your way. So once you've laid out the first one, it's always important to follow those same steps, right? So go ahead and let's cut this piece off. Nope. There we go. And so now when we flip this over, we have this all set. And so you can see on the back here, let's go over to our desk cam. You can see it's all cut up. And so we've maintained that shape. So I'm going to give it another quick little press. And then we're going to kind of go back and do that last piece. Okay, got one little piece of thread. Where did I get the seam ripper? The seam ripper is actually, this is one of the seam rippers that you get from Power Tools with Thread from Keith. This is the color that I got. He does all kinds of colors, and I think it's pretty cool. So it's a stiletto and the seam ripper all in one. I really like these. They're nice quality material, so I really enjoy using that one. It's got a little bit of a weight to it, so I like that. Okay. Let's get back to this. All right, so once again, let's line this up corner to corner. And we'll try this one more time. There we go. Grab my threads, move those to the back, line this up right underneath the line. There we go. Grab my tails, needle down. And we'll do a couple of stitches so I can let go of those threads, and then let's go ahead and stitch this out. There we go. Okay. You have one too, Jenny? Yeah, they are awesome. I really like them. I really like them. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and flip this over, finger press that down, and you guys can see here. Again, let's go to the sew cam. I think that one's easier. Maintain that shape, nice and squared. Okay, other side, nice and squared as well. Let's head this over to the iron here, and let's go ahead and iron this down. Get that nice heat on there. Grab your little clapper. Set that seam down, and then we cannot forget to cut, right? So let's open it back up, lay it flat, right? Move this out the way. There we go. And then we're going to grab our ruler, line it up against that stitch line, 1/4 of an inch, and go ahead and make your cut. Okay, got a little thread here I'm gonna cut off as well. Don't forget to cut your threads, because you'll have a lot of threads in this project, so just try to cut them as you go along. There we go. Another little press here. And we've got our clapper there. Okay. Now we've got our little corner block. Let's take a look. All right, here we go. Let me see if I can get some of this background off so you can get a good look. Can you guys see that? Couple of threads that we need to cut, but not too bad. Looks pretty good here. Okay, and so you see after that big piece that we put here, you're actually only keeping this little strip right here, and then you're going to on top of the stitch and flip, you're going to do a stitch and flip on top of a stitch and flip, and then you're going to have this piece hanging here. So pretty neat. And then that's going to be our little corner block for the bigger block, right? And so this is where this will go, actually be right here. Okay, and so we're going to do 4 of those just for those corners, and we'll add that to the block. Now, once we have this all in place, then it's just a matter of stitching these together, right? So we've got our piece right here, and we're just going to be lining them up this way, right? Just like this. Here's that bottom one, right? So this is what this is doing here. And then we'll do one more on this side, and then this you're going to allow for your 1/4 inch seam that'll be eaten up there, but you're going to line up your points. And so you're going to make sure that all of this is lined up. You want to make sure this is going to be lined up, and then on the other side as well. Okay, so all of that will need to line up, but once we've gotten one more cornerstone here, we're just going to do right sides together here, and we'll go ahead and stitch that at about 1/4 inch, and you'll do the same thing on the other side. And then once we have those in place, we're going to flip these on top, and we'll go ahead and we will sew it to our base right here, right? So if you have your base ready to go, like I do here, let's move this one out of the way. Here's your base. And so you'll have that all set up. And so once we have our other corner right here stitched all together as one row, then you'll just flip them over and it'll be right sides together going all the way across this way. And that should allow you to line everything up really nicely. And just make sure that you pin each of these points, because you want to make sure that you're hitting that point. So you're going to want to have a pin here in between these 2 seams, and then another one here in between these 2. All right, so these are your 2 important points that you want to hit here. And then this will just naturally fall right into the center. So really great. Okay, and that is our block. So that is the complete instruction for the entire block. You know, now it's just stitching it together, and then we're going to assemble it when we have all 4 blocks, assemble it together and stitch them all together. So I should have that for you by Monday. So I want to finish this block up. I've got 2 more blocks to go, and then I'm going to put it together. We'll take a look at that on Monday, and then we'll be starting on something new. So that'll be a lot of fun. We still have our binding and our backing to do. That does come, the binding does come with the kit. You do have to select your own backing fabric. So just have to go through my stash and see what we have for that. Awesome, thank you. I'm glad you like it. Yes, you love the sewing journey. Oh, awesome, awesome, great. Okay, well, we are right at time, and there is no Becky today. She's going to be teaching a class in the morning, so she won't have anything going on, but I'm sure there's other influencers that are out there that maybe you can find and kind of watch what they have going on. But before we go, let me leave you with our inspirational quote of the day. So let's move over to that. Okay, so today's quote of the day is, "Each finished quilt is a masterpiece made possible by the belief that it could be done." And it can be done, and it was done, and we did it. We did our little block, and I think that was amazing, and I think we had a fantastic time putting it together. And I know I had a blast showing you how I was doing this. So This is a lot of fun, and I hope you guys really enjoy doing this with me. I hope you are able to do it yourself. If you guys are doing it, let us know. Put it on Facebook. I'd love to see what you're working on. If you're working on a different project, just let us know what you're doing, because we like to see it and we like to watch all kinds of projects getting put together. Okay, guys, that's it for me. I hope you guys have a fantastic weekend. Had a blast doing this with you. Thank you again for all of your support. I really appreciate it. We're getting really closer to hitting that 10,000 subscriber mark. So please go ahead, give it a thumbs up if you like the video. I really thank you guys for just being here with me and having a great time. And I hope you consider subscribing if you haven't subscribed yet. All right, well, I hope you have a fantastic weekend, and I hope to be crafting with you soon. Thank you, guys. Bye-bye.
So long for now, so long. Glad you stayed a while. Hope you liked my crafting style. Hope I left you with a smile. By now, keep your mind and space clutter-free. Hope your day is bright as can be. So long, my friends, till we craft once again. By now, stay crafting.